Hey everybody, it's Ben Rodriguez, the API Champion, coming to you today with another video about APIs. Other videos by my counterparts will cover the technical nuts and bolts of building an API, whereas these videos are tailored towards the needs of product managers. As many know, the future of most businesses depends on the success of utilizing data and data sets that are available in many financial services organizations. My organization, along with others with similar backgrounds, are executing an API-first design strategy. I'm challenged with building out that strategy with a product mindset. The goal of this video is to incorporate a method to execute on API-first strategy by defining ways to validate the success of our APIs. With this quick video, I'm going to offer 5 ways to validate the success of your API. And by the end of this video, the user will be able to come away with a checklist to validate the success of their API products and to build upon their API strategy. As we go down this journey for API-first design, we must remember that our APIs are created and designed like any other product and should be managed like a product. The major difference is that our products are built on complex technical footprint that includes legacy systems, third-party systems, and data that is created or harvested. Our products must be validated against internal and external benchmarks to measure their success. On this slide, I compose 5 ways to validate an API product. These validation steps are in the form of questions. So to validate if your API is successful, one should answer yes to each one of these questions. I'm going to go over these questions in a little bit more detail to help with the validation process. The first validation step is to determine if your API is created using RESTful design. These are a certain set of design principles that must be followed in order to maintain a RESTful practice. A quick stopover to my other videos will go over RESTful design in more detail. Second, are your API products easy to understand by both developers and non-developers? You can accomplish this validation step by creating documentation that is appealing to both developers and non-developers, as both will be looking at your finished API products. You can further validate this step by asking your friends and family to read over your documentation and you asking follow-up questions. If they understand what your API does, then others will too. Third, does your API solve a problem? This is a critical validation step because without an affirmative response to this question, your API will serve minimal purpose and will be difficult to adopt. Fourth, can you define the users of your API? This is a critical step as it will assist with the marketing, branding, and overall story of your API, especially when your API is communicated through the sales and marketing channels. Fifth, are your API users happy? You can determine this by looking at forums, reviewing applications using your API, and most importantly, monitoring tickets from the operation teams to determine if people are having problems. If people are opening a large number of tickets regarding your API, then they're probably not very happy. Now, let's look at a great example of some API products. I'm going to utilize Spotify's Web API Suite. This first image can be found at the developer.spotify.com website. As you can see from this web page, this API answers positively the first set of validation questions. The API is RESTful. The API has a user guide and easy-to-read documentation. Both developers and non-developers can review and understand what this product does. This API also solves many critical problems, which are demonstrated in the use cases, tutorials, and sample applications. The final question, are API users happy, cannot be found through this slide, but can be reviewed on Stack Overflow, Twitter, or forums documenting the API's success or failure. Thank you again for watching my video, and I'd like to pose a question to the audience before we leave. How do you validate the success of your API? What are your internal and external benchmarks? I will be answering questions like this all week on Twitter, and you can follow me at APIChampion. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to the discussion on Twitter and for next week's video. Have a great week.